If you run B2B outreach on LinkedIn, you know exactly what the invisible wall feels like: 150 connection requests a week. You can write perfect cold messages, build hyper targeted lead lists, and craft an irresistible offer. None of it matters if the top of your funnel is permanently restricted by a platform limit. This is why successful lead gen agencies don't try to squeeze more out of one profile. They abandon single account outreach entirely. The math forces a shift. Instead of relying on one account, they spread the load across a fleet of 10. Look at this chart comparing outreach capacity. The single account ceiling stops dead right here at a week. Getting more leads isn't a marketing problem anymore. It's strictly an infrastructure problem. To get that volume, a lot of founders make a fatal mistake. They plug third-party automation tools directly into their primary personal profile to force a higher send rate. LinkedIn's behavioral algorithms spot that unnatural volume immediately. The system flags the account and permanently locks you out. It takes your entire professional identity with it. You lose access to your warm network, years of historical inbox conversations, and your public reputation. This is where account renting comes in. It acts as a physical firewall, completely disconnecting your main profile from the high-risk outreach engine. If a rented profile gets flagged and restricted, you lose that one node. It's a localized failure, not a cataclysmic shutdown of your entire business. Preserving your primary founder account prevents a total collapse of your network, a risk that far exceeds the potential gain of cheap, forced automation. If you decide to build a fleet, you'll immediately see the lowest tier of the market: $30 profiles. These are synthetic profiles. They have an AI-generated face, completely fabricated credentials, and no real human owner. For the first few days, they feel safe. You plug them into your tool, the messages go out, and everything seems fine. But LinkedIn relies on an unavoidable defense mechanism: the random government ID verification check. This flowchart shows exactly how cheap accounts fail. Your automation creates an IP mismatch, which triggers an ID verification request, leading straight to a campaign ban. When that ID request hits, recovery is impossible. A synthetic profile cannot produce a matching driver's license. Your campaigns freeze mid-cycle. The lead flow stops immediately, and you're left scrambling to find replacements while your clients wonder where their meetings are. Saving a few $100s a month on fake profiles is a guaranteed way to lose a multi-thousand-dollar client retainer. The alternative is the hired rep model. This is what enterprise-grade lead gen actually looks like. A valid rep requires three things: a real human owner, over 500 established connections, and at least 1 year of consistent account history. Because there is a real person behind the account, the threat of an ID verification check is completely neutralized. They upload their ID and keep running. Technically, these profiles require a dedicated static ISP proxy. This ensures the login location always matches the account owner's real geography, preventing the mismatch flags entirely. Looking at this matrix comparing cheap synthetic accounts to hired reps, the differences in infrastructure are clear, but only one column dictates your survival on the platform. The real rep passes the ID check. The synthetic profile fails. Paying a $135 premium for a hired rep buys you immunity from the platform's primary security trigger. To see if that premium makes sense, we have to run the daily math. A fully warmed-up hired rep can safely send about 30 requests per day. Multiply that across a 10-account fleet, and you have a sustainable output of 300 connection requests every single day. Building and maintaining that specific engine requires a real upfront financial commitment, roughly $1,250 a month. Compare that expense against a single B2B client retainer paying $4,000 a month. That infrastructure guarantees a reliable flow of meetings. It prevents client churn and pays for itself almost immediately. Predictable agency margins require predictable infrastructure. At scale, this $1,200 monthly cost functions as mandatory business insurance. This chart shows exactly which infrastructure strategy makes sense based on your operational size and volume needs. If you are a solo founder running highly targeted, low-volume campaigns, you can survive right here, operating manually on your primary account. But if you operate a lead gen agency managing 5 or more clients, you belong in this corner. You have no choice but to adopt a full hired rep infrastructure to reliably hit your deliverables. Operating with a mismatch between your true scale and your infrastructure, will lead directly to wasted capital or churned clients. The hidden cost of the cheap approach is your time. Operators spend hours playing IT administrator, constantly fixing burned IP addresses and swapping out dead profiles. Renting real profiles instantly shifts your time away from fixing broken technical systems and back toward actually closing deals. The 150 request limit is a permanent mathematical reality. It cannot be outsmarted with a new software tool. If you want to treat LinkedIn outreach as a serious, scalable revenue channel, you have to build it on serious, verifiable infrastructure.